What's going on, guys? It's Sonny Webster here. I'm back with Mind Pump TV, and it's time to teach you how to put all the different elements of the snatch together so that you can be executing one of these yourself at home. So I want to just start off by recapping all the different elements of the snatch that we've been over already. So we started off looking at the overhead squat, making sure we're solid and stable in that bottom position. We then went on to doing the snatch balance, working how to catch the bar overhead, and then we came back to the start position, looking at the setup, first pull, and the transitional phase. So now we're all the way at the point to where we're receiving the bar and what would appear to be a power snatch or at the top position of the snatch. So now what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna be working on going down into the bottom position with the bar, which is gonna obviously mean that we need to make sure that we've nailed all of those mobility drills and exercises that we needed to do first to be in the bottom position. But once we're there, what we're gonna be starting to do, just without weights to begin with, okay, making sure we've got a hook grip on here, is lowering to mid-thigh. You're still gonna be practicing doing this jump because I want you to continue to focus on using those legs from the floor. After that, we're now gonna be receiving the bar overhead, but in this position where we were initially holding in before straightening up, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue down into our bottom position and stand up. Now, I'll always like people to think about receiving the bar here before they go down, regardless of whether they're doing a full snatch or a power snatch, just purely on the basis that by thinking about catching the bar there at the top, it makes sure we finish the pull and refer to shrugging or fully extending at the top before we go down into the bottom position. If you don't think about receiving the bar here, the tendency will be for you to kick and then want to drop down before the bar's even had a chance to get any height on it. So we're going to think about receiving the bar up here before going down into the bottom position and then standing straight up. Again, I commonly see people snatching and they'll catch it in the bottom position. They'll go, yay, I've got it. And then next thing you know, they've dropped the bar down, they've missed it. Remember that the lift does not finish till we're stood up at the top position. So always remember catching in the bottom position, standing straight up. So I'm gonna show you what this will look like now with the bar. Lowering to mid-thigh, one jump, lowering to mid-thigh, jump, catch, and then we're continuing into the bottom position and standing right up. Once you're competent doing this, just lowering to mid-thigh, we're gonna do the same now, lowering to mid-shin. Again, making sure we're keeping the discipline as the bar's coming past the knees before we extend, and then going again like so, catching above the head and going down into the bottom position. This is then made up our full snatch, working backwards. So once you're happy doing this, like I said with the bar, we can then look to put some weights on the bar. Now again, I commonly see people go, oh, brilliant, sick, and they go and grab themselves a big set of 10s, and they're already at 40 kilos. There's not that need to jump straight to those weights. Think about taking smaller jumps, using the fractional weights. As to begin with, we're always gonna be starting at the hip and lowering down into the start position as opposed to just setting up from the floor. So now you've progressed, loading up to the point where you've got discs on the bar, whether they be big 5s, big 10s, or anything like that. However, what I want you to still make sure that you're doing is that we're starting the lift at waist height. This just gets us used to making sure that when we're lowering the bar, it's staying nice and close to the body and we're keeping it close through the middle. So we're just gonna pick the bar up the exact same way we would do if we were lifting from the floor to deliver it to waist height. From here, what you're gonna do, again, nice big chest, pull the shoulder blades back and down. You're gonna keep the bar touching, touching, touching. You're gonna kiss the floor with the weights, and then you're gonna keep tension, come back past the knee, and then go down into your full lift. Again, make sure you're keeping that control and focusing on keeping that full extension. Every time here, I'm just letting the bar hang. Again, touching, 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 bend the knees, kiss the floor, still touching. I'm not going fast yet till I get to mid-thigh and then I get that acceleration. You have to remember when you're first learning the Olympic movements, or especially the full snatch, that speed is not your friend. Go slowly, think about being in control of where the bar is rather than trying to dash underneath that bar at speed. Being in control of it is so much more important. Once you've practiced this for a couple of weeks and you're competent now lifting from waist, we can now start addressing the bar from the floor in the same way that we did in the setup video. Just remember to always do your thinking and your visualization of the lift back here before stepping forward and you're beginning your process to address the bar. So the only thing that's changed now is instead of picking the bar up to waist height, first of all, we're going to be going right from the floor. So I'm going to take you back through that process again. I'm picking my point to focus on. I address the bar. I take my grip. Shoulder blades go back and down. Knees and arms in line. And now I'm ready to go. From here, when you'll start thinking, oh, Sonny, I'm not sure whether I can do this. What if it's heavy? What if I drop it? I count 3, 2, 1. And when I get to 1, I just go. Again, keeping it controlled till I get to mid-thigh and then accelerate through the middle to complete the lift. Make sure that every time you're lowering the bar down under control to place it back on the floor and then step back and continue back through your process for your second rep. So I'd be lying if I said to you now, oh, you're never gonna miss a lift, because it is gonna happen, and it's still something that happens to me to this day, 15 years into weightlifting. So it's very important that I teach you how to miss these weights safely so you don't end up hurting yourself. It's something I wish I had learned when I first started weightlifting. So the first common miss is gonna be out the back. Now, it might be seem quite simple, but you'll be surprised how many times people will catch the weight overhead and try and hold on to it. Now, if you're trying to hold on to it in this position and the bar's going backwards, the body's going forward, it puts incredible pressure on the elbows and the shoulders. So you need to think about launching and let go of that bar and jumping forward out the way. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now. So we get up, we do the snatch. Bar's a little bit too far back. I can't hold on to it. You let go and you jump forward out the way. What you've got to always remember is these bars and weights are nowhere near as valuable for you. So just get out of the way for them, launch them into anything that's in front of you. Just don't let it fall on you. Don't be a hero. Okay, the next miss is going to be in front. How to get rid of the bar if we're missing it in front. So again, bar's caught overhead in the catch position, arms haven't quite locked out and it's coming down right on top of my noggin. Again, what we're going to be doing here is launching the bar out the way and rolling back, okay? If that bar is ever going to be coming down on top of you, you can always do your best to lay flat and that bar will not land on you because there's enough space between you and the bar. But again, ideal practice, throw the bar out the way and roll. Okay, so I think what the final and important point to mention is now, because you're gonna be lifting, happy, nailing good lifts, and you're gonna be right, I wanna lift more. But what you've got to always bear in mind is the jumps that you're gonna take building up once you're happy with your technique. And always remember that your technique should be what you should be focusing on when you progress up in load, not the fact that you feel too strong to lift that weight. Okay, so what I'm saying is don't just try and progress more weight on the bar if your technique's breaking down, okay? Because that's gonna result in you hurting yourself. And don't be afraid to take small jumps to build up in weight. You don't want to go straight from 40 kilos to 50 kilos if you've never snatched before. Just take small mini jumps. That way you won't feel like a massive change in terms of when you get to the bar and you think, oh, this is heavy, and you resort back to technique. You'll be able to hold good form and progress slowly, bit by bit. That way, you're gonna have a lot more of a longevity in Olympic weightlifting than you are if you just try and jump up too heavy all of a sudden and the technique breaks down. It takes a long time to get to the big weights, but taking small steps is far more valuable than taking big steps and then having to have time off through injury. So I hope you guys have enjoyed our last video now, taking you through how to put all the different elements that we've been over in this video series on how to snatch from scratch. If you've liked the videos, make sure you go back over them, watch them again, and drill all the different elements building up to this final point. You can spend as much time as you want mastering each element of the lift first before you worry about putting it all together. So if you've liked this video, remember to like and subscribe, go back through all the other series, and if you've got any any questions for me, feel free to stick them down the bottom in the comment section. And moving on for this, if you're looking for a program on how to practice these or more structured progressing through the Olympic lifts, then make sure you go and check out my Instagram page, Sonny Webster GB, or my academy at sonnywebster.com. We'd love to have you inside there too. Take care, guys.